How's it going, everybody? My name is just Jared, but you can just call me Jared no matter what my channel name still says. Welcome back to another loot video. Today we're talking about Tribes of Midgard, an upcoming top-down co-op survival action RPG releasing on PC and PS5 later this year. It's based on Norse mythology, yes, the same mythology that's been popping up in games left and right over the last year with titles like Valhalla or Valheim. Good news, this one doesn't start with a V, so I won't get the names mixed up even more. And yes, this game has loot in it, or we wouldn't be talking about it. First, let's chat really quick about what the heck this game even is, so you're not confused, and then we'll dive headfirst into the figurative chest full of loot. Tribes of Midgard puts you in the shoes of a Viking in Midgard, whose goal is to protect the Tree of Yggdrasil from the invasion of giants during Ragnarok. You've got the tree, it's at the center of your town. You, by yourself, or up to 9 of your friends, so 10 people total, must explore outward to gather materials in order to craft reinforcements for your town, powerful gear to equip, and items to survive. You can cut down trees for wood, craft a pickaxe to mine stone, take down goblin camps, uncover relics, find new biomes, stumble upon random events, loot chests, build defenses, all of this in a procedurally generated area, so every new game is unique. Basically, the core gameplay loop goes like this: explore, kill things, get materials, craft defenses for your tree, craft armor and weapons, explore further, kill more things, get rare materials. You get the idea. If you don't, just rewind the video like 10 seconds and listen again until you get it. There's also giants, which I'd argue is the selling point of the game. They're pretty big. Some might say giant. That was off script. Are you proud of me? These giants act as bosses and are super tough to defeat, but they drop really... Hey! Cat, stop. These giants act as bosses and are tough to defeat, but they drop really rare stuff, and as soon as I heard that in one of the Tribes of Midgard's trailer a few months ago, I was basically like, okay, cool, this game is instantly for me because I'm a simple man. If enemy drops items, I give you my wallet. With that being said, there's gameplay running in the background. If you still don't understand the core concept or gist of everything, you'll get it eventually just from watching that. I'm not here to grind through every little detail about why, how, and what this game does in a 10 decades long video. I'm just here to tell you everything that I know about the loot in this game, and that if you like loot, you might want to keep your eye on this. Onward then to the meat and potatoes of this video, or the gems and gold of this video. I don't know, I tried to make it loot related, but after I said it out loud, I realized it doesn't work at all. In Tribes of Midgard, the best gear and weapons in the game come via crafting. Crafting materials, along with gear, are sorted in 2 different rarities, the kind all of us are familiar with by now. You know, the loud ping drop sounds and the beams of light shooting up from the ground. All of those dopamine-inducing features are in this game. Rarities range from common to legendary, and gear can drop from enemies and chests, but the pinnacle gear like armor sets and like super dope stuff, I'm sure. I don't necessarily have any examples for you because there's no info out there about what items are what rarities, i.e. examples of legendaries, but super dope stuff, I think, basically covers it. As far as what kind of loot you'll be crafting in Tribes of Midgard, you got a few options. Melee weapons like swords, axes, and hammers, one-handers and two-handers alike, depending on if you want to dual wield or use a shield, and bows are currently the only confirmed ranged weapon type. Potions are also a form of loot, as well as the crafting materials we already talked about. Now here I'm going to share some of my thoughts on how I kind of think the gear might work a little bit differently than most traditional action RPGs do, or traditional top-down action RPGs, and what I mean by that is I don't really think we'll be seeing random stat rolls on like a Diablo or Grim Dawn level, or the amount of affixes like we see in those games either. Don't expect like a list of 30 million stats on one helmet where they literally go off screen because there's so many. There might still be some form of randomness of stat or affix numbers, but I wouldn't expect anything to that level, where the type of stats and stats percentage is completely based on RNG. Weapons in Tribes of Midgard all have their own unique weapon attack combos and playstyles, so I'd imagine they each have their own thing if you're picking up what I'm putting down. where each weapon is more handcrafted versus the possibility of multiples of the same weapon being different from each other stat and affix wise. Different versions of weapon archetypes with different visuals and rarities will obviously have varying affixes, etc. So if this is the case, there's still going to be plenty of loot to satiate your dopamine craving brain. Fire, Ice, Thunder, and Darkness are not Pokemon types, but good guess. Instead, they are 4 of the damage types that can be found on weapons. Different elements work better against certain enemies, and the best weapons have cool moves that incorporate the element they're imbued with, which we'll look at when we do the loot montage after I'm done explaining everything. Calm down, we're almost there. Let's talk armor. There's not really much to say, unfortunately, because information is so limited right now. Nobody who's not under an NDA really has any insight on exactly what the armor system looks like. I do know that there are multiple armor slots, so that's good. I don't know how many exactly. Some deduction within the past posts of the official Discord hints that there'll be helmets, gloves, chest, and boots. Whether or not there's rings or amulets or any other armor, I have no idea as of right now with the information that's available to me. I also know that you can mix and match armor pieces, but there will be bonuses for wearing a full set, because those set pieces have to be individually crafted via the rare drops from bosses and giants, so it makes sense for sets to have bonuses the more pieces you equip. The abilities you get from leveling up, plus the spells tied to the best weapons, and the gear bonuses you can obtain are what's going to help you and your friends tackle the giants, that are ever slowly approaching your encampment, as well as help fend off the healthing attacks that happen every night. Let's take a look at what the obtainable loot actually looks like in a really cool, epically edited montage by a pro editor. That's right, me. Cue the music. But seriously, I'm a big fan of the art style in this game, not only the environments and overall vibrancy, but also how all the loot looks and the effect animations of abilities. My favorite being this darkness-infused sword, but all the effects look really good, and that's half the battle with loot and itemization. Not only do items really need to feel powerful and unique, they also need to look good too, because visual customization and visual progression is just as important as gameplay or skill progression in games like this. I think the Norsefell team behind this game is doing a really good job on that front. I'm actively stalking their Discord and Twitter, waiting for more weapon designs to be shown off, if that tells you anything. That's all the info I've got for you on the loot in Tribes of Midgard. Like I said, this game is releasing on PC and PS5 in 2021, so sometime this year, hopefully soon. Oh, and one more thing before I forget. If the game does well, there will be post-launch content, and that content will be free with the potential for cosmetic-only microtransactions, just so you know. Alright, that's it. Wishlist the game, it's going to be good. I'll link the Steam page down below, as well as the trailers for the game if you want to check those out. And I'll also link the Discord if you want to join that for easily accessible updates on the game's development. Plus, there's a bunch of cool people over there that really just love talking about the game, so it's a pretty good place to be. Tell them Just Jared sent you, at me in the general chat, I'll be around. If you enjoyed this video, found it funny, or cool, or informative, leave a like, because it makes me feel really good inside, and it does something with the YouTube algorithm that I won't even pretend to understand, so just trust me. Subscribe for more game news videos focused around games with loot. It's literally all I talk about. Also, if you subscribe within the next 24 hours, you'll have unlimited access to my thousands of gold coins in my personal stash from down in the well outside of my house. So if you want unlimited access to my thousands of gold coins in my personal stash from down in the well outside of my house, then subscribe. Patreon supporters, whose gorgeous names are bouncing around on screen right now, not only have access to my thousands of gold coins well, but also have exclusive access to my second personal stash from down in my second well that's right next to the first well outside of my house that is full of gems. Why do I have 2 wells outside of my house? It doesn't matter. This bit is incredibly dumb and took way too long. Patreon link in description. Subscribe for gold coins. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.